Hello everybody, thanks for joining me for this episode. I am with my friend Margie Mormon from
Texas.
And where in Texas do you live? She's a Texas girl, so I like her, right?
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Right. So we got that thing going.
Texas women.
Do not mess with the Texas women, I'm just saying. And Margie has a great dream she's going to share with us. And Margie is with me in New York. So we have been having lots of fun. All of my friends here in New York, all of the dreamers. See, I hang out with the dreamers and the very intuitive people. I'm not stupid.
No, you're not.
No. So I like to hang with all the fun people who dream. So tell me your crazy dream, sister.
Crazy dream. Okay, I dreamed that I was watching a basketball game, and there was a referee dressed in his black and white striped referee shirt who was calling, making the calls in the basketball game with his whistle. However, he had a very short man on his shoulders who was also imitating him, doing the same thing, blowing the whistle when the whistle should be blown.
So, pardon me, when he made a call, then the short man made a call, the same call?
The same call.
Blew the whistle?
The exact same call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how was the short man dressed?
He had his referee shirt on, his black and white striped shirt. He looked identical in his dress.
Okay, so let's start there.
Okay.
Okay, sometimes when you're in the game, we're talking about the game of life, right?
Right.
And he was the referee, but when we're talking about the game of life, that's about carrying the ball, right? You carry your ball in your own life. So this is a very interesting, I love this dream because a referee is an enforcer. Right? They're enforcing all of the rules. Now, sometimes they make calls that are not agreed with as far as the crowd is concerned, but what they say is bottom line, right? What they say goes.
Right.
Now, interesting. Let's look at the representation of the black and white. The black and white stripes, just think of the idioms like, you can't change a cat's stripes.
Correct.
Right? So that might be an interesting thing to be looking at as far as characteristic goes with the enforcing. It's like a system of enforcement.
Interesting.
Right? And contrasting black and white. Whenever you have black and white and there is no gray, what we're talking about is contrast like a structure of traditional religion. Sometimes it can be a very religious structure. Now that has nothing to do with spirituality as much as just, how we can be we can get very religious about things sometimes.
Yes.
We can work out or have a diet or something like that where we just self-enforce, and we cause ourselves to be in bondage sometimes to our belief systems. So this is very interesting. Then we have the short man sitting on the tall man's shoulders. And shoulders are going to represent authority. That's where you carry your authority. So you're saying that every time the regular sized man, the regular referee, made a call, the short man made exactly the same call, like a mimic. Was it a parroting
Yes.
or a mimicking?
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead. And had the whistle, the whole thing, just like the other guy.
Just exactly like the other guy.
Okay.
Same moment, same everything.
Okay.
And then the dream shifted to a football game. And the football game had the same referee in it, and he was holding the same shorter man on his shoulders. And when a call needed to be made, the taller man blew the whistle, and the shorter man on his shoulders blew the whistle.
Exactly the same.
And yes, and the crowd booed.
Oh!
One team booed, and one team cheered.
Okay, let's talk about that. What if the shorter man is a characteristic, a trait that belongs to the taller man and is about an inferiority complex?
Oh, interesting.
Even though he's an enforcer, what if he doesn't feel like his voice is heard?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so the smaller man actually represents that system. So the crowd that boos and the crowd that cheers, the crowd that boos might be, the negative or the opposition in our lives.
Right.
And the positive might be the positive. The cheering might be the positive system in our life.
Sure.
Those thought processes. This is a very interesting dream and can kind of get deep. I'm telling you, there's some interesting stuff. Okay, so that was we had a basketball game. Now we've got a football game.
Right.
What happened next?
Okay, and then the dream turned to an ice skating rink, like the Disney on Ice.
Okay.
It was that type of a activity on the ice, and people were all around watching this show, and the taller man put the shorter man on the ice, and the shorter man started twirling and leaping, spreading his legs, leaping, doing all these incredible moves on the ice.
He's an ice skater.
Yes, on the ice, and the crowd started booing him. The crowd booed the shorter man.
Interesting.
But
he acted like he knew what he was doing on the ice.
He was very good at what he was doing on the ice.
Wow.
Yeah, that was interesting too. He was really performing well.
Okay.
And as the crowd was booing horrendously,
wow,
they were adamant. They were booing him. I was up about 4 rows from the ice.
You were there in the arena watching. All right, watching the show.
I was watching it all, and I was so upset with the crowd. So I reached down to my side and I pulled a red flag.
Okay.
And I sailed down to the ice, got out on the ice. I didn't have skates, but I walked out onto the ice and I said, "That's enough." And I did the hand gesture where my hands crossed.
Yeah.
And
like you were the referee?
Like I was.
I love that.
Yeah. I was the one that was saying, "This is not right."
Wow.
That was enough.
Okay.
And finally, after being very, very strong, in my opinion, saying stop, the crowd stopped. And that was the end of the dream.
Wow. What I'm getting is, if we go back to the black and white stripes, and we're looking at a sort of traditional religious viewpoint about anything, that there is sometimes a performance, right?
Right.
That perfectionism, that performance that is sort of entwined and really holds us into that bondage. So it almost sounds like if the shorter man is a characteristic of the taller man, then the shorter man would be representative or a trait of his inferiority complex. If he is trying to perform, it's like it's never enough. We do feel like we've got to do more. It's never enough. I can never be enough. I can never do enough, and I can never do it as perfect as I need to. So I'm wondering if that's what you were calling a halt to, and that you have a sort of you're like an advocate, right, that comes against that system that says I'm not good enough, and I've got to be so perfect. And so you were saying this is done, right?
This is enough.
You had your red flag.
I had the red flag.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now red often represents passion.
Okay.
It can represent rage. The positive is passion. I'm wondering if it represents passion and thus compassion.
Okay.
Which is who you are.
Okay.
For people who have those sorts of issues, and they need to be addressed, and you address them in people's lives.
All right. Interesting.
Right?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very
I know you're
interesting.
very compassionate, so that does make sense.
Oh, that's
Do
good.
you have any other thoughts on that?
The only thing that I was thinking when you were saying this was that we perform to call ourselves worthy.
Oh, wow, that's so good.
You know, and
yeah,
if
because
our-
we never feel.
We don't feel we're worthy,
Right.
so we're performing. And we feel that that is the way to validate ourselves
Wow.
before Creator.
Right, absolutely. And the crowd booing his performance-driven actions
Mhm.
would be that place where he was probably wounded in the first place.
Could be.
So that trait was probably connected to a wounding that most likely happened when he was smaller.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that just
That's
great?
fascinating.
I love the way Creator speaks.
Oh, I do too.
Margie, thank you.
I love you.
You are awesome.
I love you.
I appreciate you being here
Mm.
and sharing with me.
I loved it.
Let's do it again sometime.
All right, we will.
Thanks for joining us.